Greetings everyone, Zed here. Genshin Impact has debuted its first patch introducing us to the Natlan region, and with it comes a massive amount of collectibles to acquire, and in this video I want to give you a full rundown from top to bottom of everything you can get your hands on from patch 5.0. Before we get started, some housekeeping. This video is coming out right before patch 5.1, and this is intentional on my part. This video is meant to be a post-mortem recap on the patch to give you a full rundown of everything released. The upside of this is that I can basically have full knowledge of every single thing in the patch that was released, and am able to provide the most accurate and detailed information possible. The downside is that I can't warn you of things to come to help you prepare for their arrival, or warn you about time-sensitive collectibles that you may miss or leave uncollected. But fret not, that's where my community Discord comes into play. If you want to be notified in real time of time-sensitive collectibles so that you don't miss anything, consider joining our community Discord. There you can obtain the collector role and receive real-time notifications alerting you to every single collectible that gets released. I also post my spreadsheet there near the beginning of every patch that is a full list of collectibles for the entire patch. That spreadsheet is also linked down below in the description of this video. Also, please keep in mind that this video is not designed to teach you specifically how to collect every single item. There are plenty of guides on YouTube already for that. This guide is to give you a full overview of everything there is to collect to help you not miss a single thing. Now, having said that, 5.0 is the first patch of an entire new region, so there's a ton more to cover than usual. So without further ado, let's get started. Let's quickly get through the 3 new characters brought to us with the release of Natlan, as unless you're living under a rock, you probably already know this information. The first phase of 5.0 brought us Kachina, a 4-star Geopolearm support hero, and Mualani, a 5-star Hydro Catalyst DPS hero. While the second phase of the patch brought us Kinich, a 5-star Dendro Claymore DPS hero. All 3 of these characters, as usual, are obtained through wishing, although we did get a free copy of Kachina near the beginning of the Natlan Archon quest. By the release of this video, the Mualani Kachina banner will have ended, but Kinich is still up for grabs if you want him. These 3 new heroes brings the total copy of collectible heroes in the game to a total of 87. The release of Natlan has brought us a total of 8 new weapons to add to our collection. Let's start with the 2 new signature weapons that appeared on the weapon banners for their respective characters. We had Surf's Up, a 5-star Catalyst designed for Mualani, and Fang of the Mountain King, a 5-star Claymore designed for Kinich. These, as usual for signature weapons, are only available through wishing. We also had an event, Traces of Artistry, that gave us a free 4-star catalyst called Ash Graven Drinking Horn. You should have been able to not only obtain this catalyst, but also refine it to R5 through the event rewards. This event is currently over as the release of this video, so hopefully you nabbed it. This weapon is most likely a permanent missable at this point, but if you were receiving collection alerts from our community Discord, that likely did not happen. The last 5 weapons are the new craftables for Natlan. Every region has craftable versions of every weapon type, and Natlan is no exception. You can buy the forging blueprints for these weapons from Alum, the blacksmith in Natlan, and then start crafting them from any blacksmith using the new regional weapon billets and some base ore materials. With the addition of these weapons to the game, we now have a total of 194 unique weapons in the game to collect. Alright, let's start talking about exploration. The first open world area of Natlan is huge and expansive, so there's a lot to cover here. Let's start with the open world map. We have 4 new sub-regions in Natlan. If you're like me, you'll want to 100% all of these regions as shown on the world map. You can do this by unlocking waypoints, statues of the 7, collecting chests, collecting Oculus, unlocking viewpoints, and various other methods of exploration around the new region. Note that this doesn't mean you've actually 100% collected every single thing. The game is very loose and generous with its interpretation of 100%, and it basically means you've collected most things, not necessarily all of the things. If you're trying to fully unlock and open the entire new region, there are 4 statues of the 7, 45 waypoints, and 3 domains. It wouldn't be a complete collection video if we didn't talk about everyone's favorite collectibles, the Oculus. And with Natlan being an entire new region, of course, we get its new respective Oculus, the Pyroculus. 108 total Pyroculus are scattered throughout the new region, and if you collect all of them, you will have the Statue of the 7 at level 5 with 13 spare Pyroculus. If you're also interested in collecting every last chest in the new region, you'll want to check your achievement titled Ignited Treasure Hunter 1, as that will give you a total chest count. This should read 407 if you've collected every last chest. Also, as you collect chests, you'll notice the chests drop pyro sigils. These can be used in the Tablet of Tona as well. The max level for the Tablet of Tona is level 20, and this is time gated by Hoyo intentionally, so get it to level 20, claim the rewards, that's the maximum level you can level it to. It might also be relevant to note that if you're missing a small number of chests or Oculus, it might behoove you to wait until you can get your hands on the Pyro Treasure Compass and the Pyroculus Resonance Stone, which the blueprints don't unlock for you until you reach max reputation with 3 and 4 of the Natlan tribes respectively. Alright, let's talk about the new Natlan reputation system and the world quests that are contained within. While the reputation system has been relatively static in its implementation up through Fontaine, Genshin has changed the game on the reputation system for Natlan, and it's completely different. Instead of having one singular hub dedicated to raising your reputation in the entire region, we now have 6 different hubs, one dedicated to each of the 6 Natlan tribes. Not only does each of the 6 tribes have its own reward for increasing that tribe's reputation, there's also a reward track for the number of tribes you have reached max reputation with. So instead of reaching level 10 for the entire region, you need to reach a max level of 4 with each of the 6 tribes individually. Right now, we only have 3 of the 6 Natlan tribes available, and I'm sure the other 3 tribes will rear their heads as more of the region is released in future patches. If you've been pushing reputation since the beginning of the patch and have been smart with the way you've been distributing your reputation to the 3 tribes, it is possible to have reached the max level of 4 in all 3 available tribes before the end of patch 5.0. This isn't really super critical though, as there's plenty of time to max out reputation, and I don't think 5.1 is even bringing us a 4th tribe, although don't quote me on this if I turn out to be wrong. And as for the world quests contained within the reputation system, they are also divided amongst the different tribes individually as well. The Children of Echoes tribe has 4 world quests, the Scions of the Canopy has 5 world quests, and lastly, the People of the Springs has 5 world quests as well. 5.0 brings us 118 brand new achievements to achieve. I'm not going to break down all 118 achievements here in detail, but I can give a small breakdown and glaze over them quickly. Since there is a new region to explore, we have a new achievement category based on exploration. This category is called Natlan, the Land of Fire and Competition 1, and obtains 18 new achievements. As is usual for this type of category, you can collect these achievements by unlocking teleport waypoints on the map, collecting chests, completing time trial challenges, opening Shrines of Death, collecting Monatu, which is this new region's version of the Seelie, and finishing some of the more in-depth world quests associated with the new region. Note though that 2 of the achievements in this category are unobtainable at this time, and most likely won't be obtainable for quite some time as well. We're talking probably until halfway through Natlan's patch cycle. These achievements are related to maxing out the Natlan Statue of the Seven and maxing out Natlan's Tablet of Tona, which Hoyo time gates until most of Natlan is fully explorable. The next category is new achievements for the Imaginarium Theater, entitled Imaginarium Theater: The Second Folio. There are 7 new achievements here, and they involve collecting envisioned echoes, completing the theater in the new release difficulty visionary mode, and also completing a single run while also collecting stars, which the game calls Stella. Note that there is one unobtainable achievement in this category entitled Dream Through the Canvas that will not be doable until 5.1, specifically November 1st, when the 5th iteration of the theater goes live. 30 more achievements come from defeating the new local legends scattered throughout Natlan. This category is called Duelist Series 1. There are 10 different local legends you have to not only defeat, but complete various difficult challenges to unlock more achievements. If you're having trouble beating these local legends or completing the challenges, I suggest you join a world level that is lower than your own to make the fight significantly easier. This category is tough and not for the faint of heart. Another 9 achievements comes from the category Meetings in Outrealm Series 5. Just like the previous series, you're required to defeat specific bosses in co-op mode. So grab your friends, if you have any. And then finally, a whopping 54 achievements are in the Wonders of the World category. I'm not going to go into specifics here, but if you complete the new Natlan Archon quest, complete all the world quests, and focus on doing your daily commissions while they're set to Natlan, you'll make a great headway in plowing through these. Note as well, there is also one unobtainable achievement in this category as well, and that achievement is entitled 6 Crowns and Overnight Story. You're going to need to max reputation in all 6 tribes to do this. With the addition of all these achievements, the grand total of achievements in the game is now 1358, with only 1354 being obtainable before the end of patch 5.0. We have quite a few new recipes released with Natlan, bringing us a total of 19 new recipes. 6 of these recipes are sold by various NPCs throughout Teyvat. Seepak and Chanka in Natlan both sell 2 recipes each, and even Sara, all the way back in Mondstadt, has 2 new recipes for us to purchase. Also, make sure to talk to Chanka and trigger her dialogue rewards. She has a recipe hiding in there as well. A couple of world quests also have recipe rewards at the end of their quest. If you complete To the Night, What is the Nights, and A Saurian Lover's Ordinary Days, you'll be rewarded with 2 new recipes. If you also get to reputation level 2 of all the 3 currently released tribes, the reward for each gives a brand new recipe to learn as well, adding 3 to our collection. There's also 5 random scattered chests throughout the new Natlan region that contains recipes as well, which feels like a new development. I don't remember chests having recipes before this, but I could be misremembering. We also have a web event that gives a new recipe. The 4th anniversary Teyvat special delivery event rewards the recipe Delights of Wondrous Wanderings. This event is still ongoing, even as the release of this video, so don't miss it. And lastly, the biggest collaboration failure of an event in 2024 goes to, drumroll please, Hoyo! This is the McDonald's collab, which gives us the recipe Golden Apple Pastry. I don't know how they screwed up the launch of this event so badly, considering how simple the execution for something like this should be in 2024, but anyways, this event is also over as of the release of this video, so hopefully you nabbed it. The addition of these recipes brings the grand total of collectible recipes to 215. We have a very basic TCG update this time around with 3 new character cards and 19 new action cards added to our collection. You can collect the Fremine and Janyun character cards from the bulletin board in the Cat's Tail, and the new Hydro Hilichurl Rogue character card is obtained through a tavern card challenge when you talk to Prince. 2 copies for each character of the associated talent card will also be added to your collection when you collect the respective character card. But note, if you want the skins for these talent cards, you'll need to reach level 10 proficiency with each character individually. The remaining 13 action cards can be bought straight from Prince's card shop. You can also use the shop to buy the dynamic skins for each card as well, including the 3 character cards mentioned earlier. If you've been extremely diligent since the start of the TCG, you should finally now be able to buy out the entirety of Prince's shop. This is only a recent development with the latest couple patches, as lucky coins are time-gated by Hoyo, so you can only collect so many. I personally am getting close to this goal, but I did make a few mistakes collecting coins in the earlier part of the TCG's release. If you managed to do it though, congrats, this is a huge W. If you're trying to maximize your lucky coin intake, make sure you do your 4 Senite Gauntlet challenges every week, and every patch they also give us the Forge Realms Temper Challenge, so make sure you do that as well. Next, we have 11 new name cards added to patch 5.0. 3 of the name cards are obtained when reaching friendship level 10 with the 3 new characters this patch, Kachina, Mualani, and Kinich. 2 of the name cards are rewards locked behind the reputation system we talked about earlier, involving the tribes of Natlan. You'll need to reach the max level of 4 for any tribe in Natlan to receive the first name card entitled Natlan Divine Army, and then in a future patch, we'll need to reach the max level for 4 different tribes entitled Natlan Fiery Dragon. Obviously, this last one isn't obtainable yet, as there are only 3 tribes in Natlan released thus far. There are 4 new name cards for fully completing 4 of the different achievement categories we covered earlier in this video. Only 2 of the 4 mentioned here are actually obtainable this patch: the Lord of the Night name card for completing all of the local legend achievements, and the Endpoint name card for finishing the Meetings in Outrealms The other two name cards are not obtainable, as we cannot get the 5th Envisioned Echo until patch 5.1 from the Imaginarium Theater, and we cannot max the Statue of the Seven or the Tablet of Tona until much further into Natlan's development cycle. The usual name card for purchasing the Gnostic Chorus of the Battle Pass is of course here, entitled Primal Fire. And then lastly, we have the Celebration Crispy and Sweet name card that was part of the McDonald's collab mentioned earlier. The event for this name card is over as of this video's release, so hopefully you got it. We now have a total of 212 name cards in the game. This is where I would normally talk about the gift sets in the Serenity Teapot for all the new characters, but they aren't in the game yet. We will probably see a future update where all of these get added for all of the new Natlan characters all at once, so stay tuned. The new region of Natlan has 10 Spincrystals spread throughout its landscape. These are Spincrystals 131 through 140. Make sure to pick them up and unlock them in your music box in the teapot. We have one new glider added in 5.0, but unfortunately it is not obtainable at this time. It is the Wings of Soaring Flames glider, but until we can reach max reputation with 5 tribes in Natlan, it's out of reach. We now have a grand total of 15 gliders in the game, of which only 14 are currently obtainable. This patch, we have 4 new avatars to collect. Not much here, but let's cover it anyways. 3 of the avatars are gained just from obtaining the 3 new heroes of this patch, one for Kinich, one for Kachina, and one for Mualani. The last avatar is called Your Saurian Companion, and is the world quest avatar you get for completing the main throughline quest for the new Natlan region, Between Pledge and Forgittance. There are now a total of 126 avatars to collect, of which you can only obtain 125, since you can't have both versions of the Traveler simultaneously. There are also 8 new stances released this patch in the Imaginarium Theater. 4 were released September 1st at the start of the 3rd iteration of the theater for Calais, Sino, Nouvelette, and Amber. The other 4 were released in the 4th iteration on October 1st, comprised of Mika, Venti, Toma, and Navia. Each iteration of the theater grants 3 toy medals, and each one can only be used to purchase 1 stance of your choosing. And since there have only been 4 iterations up until now, we are only able to collect 12 of the 18 released stances at this time. Alright, home stretch here. We have arrived at the archive. Now there's a ton of new entries here, 217 to be exact, so I absolutely will not be listing them one at a time. If you want the full detailed list, be sure to reference the spreadsheet in the description of this video. All of these entries being added to the game brings us to a grand total of 2,788. Note that the maximum obtainable entries is actually 2,785, as there are 3 entries that cannot be obtained as of the end of patch 5.0. We cannot receive the entry for the Pyroculus Resonance Stone until there are 4 Natlan tribes released in the game, and no player can have more than 4 of the 6 mini Sealies in the utility items section. As an aside, the Pyro Treasure Compass entry is also very difficult to have gotten by the end of this patch, as you would have had to have been extremely efficient distributing all of your reputation points to the 3 Natlan tribes to get all 3 tribes to max reputation. While this requires a tremendous amount of foresight, it is still not technically unobtainable. If you did it, kudos to you. Oh my god, we made it through. What an amazing patch, chock full of amazing things to collect, and I hope you had just as much fun collecting and exploring Natlan as I did. If I find out later that I made any mistakes or want to add anything important, I'm going to use the pinned comment of this video, so make sure to look down below as well. I'll also add the link to our community Discord down there as well, so hope to see you there. We love to see people show off their heroes and their collection. See you all in 5.1, and happy hunting.